I'm making this video to address all the guys that have been promoting overseas travel for the purposes of hooking up with prostitutes. Uh, you know, Number one, I feel like it's a gross misrepresentation to promote overseas travel for the purposes of hooking up with prostitutes. Because number one, it's unnecessary. I've been overseas. I've been going overseas for years. I've been overseas. I've been with foreign women. I've ran through women overseas. So it really boggles my mind when I see these videos on YouTube, and I read these articles, by guys that are going overseas and hooking up with prostitutes. Firstly, bagging women overseas is extremely easy, especially when you're an American guy. When you're in most places overseas, all chicks have to do is hear your accent, and you're already in. So for these guys to go overseas and hook up with prostitutes when they're in a place where it's easy, if not easier, to bag the regular local chicks, it doesn't make sense to me. You know, I mean, and on top of that, you have beautiful women, beautiful women who are open to, casually dating, and then, smashing, just if you're from the States. So it really doesn't make sense. And secondly, I hear the argument a lot from guys that, they go overseas and they hook up with prostitutes. The argument that I hear from them is that, well, you can't criticize what I'm doing overseas because back in the States, guys, they're paying for pussy, by bringing girls on dates, whining and dining them, and what have you. So how can guys in the States criticize what I'm doing in Colombia or Costa Rica or wherever, when they're essentially doing the same thing, which is paying for pussy? Which I understand. I understand where they're coming from. But you can't compare a prostitute to a regular chick. A prostitute's numbers, just alone. She has sex for a living. Her numbers are in the hundreds, if not the thousands. Whereas a regular chick, chances are, her numbers aren't going to be anywhere near that of a prostitute. And if I'm going to Costa Rica or if I'm going to Colombia for the purposes of fucking, a chick, it'll be a lot easier for me to reconcile myself, if the condom breaks, if I'm with a regular chick, then I'm with the prostitute. Because if I'm with the regular chick and the condom breaks, at least I can say, yeah, the condom broke, but, maybe her numbers aren't that high. Whereas if I'm fucking with the prostitute and the condom breaks, I know her numbers are high. I know what it is. So, I'm sweating all night. So, just on a safety, basis, it's a lot riskier, and to me, it would be a huge deterrent, and then, and again, it's not that hard to bag local chicks overseas. It's easy as fuck. I've been going overseas for years. I've ran through bad bitches overseas. It is fucking easy. So I just don't understand why these guys in Colombia or fucking Brazil have to hook up with prostitutes when there's plenty of free badass pussy walking all over the place. And on top of that, when you bag a regular local chick, that's a long-term contact. You'll have her during that trip. You'll be hitting it during that trip, and then when you go back 4 or 5 months later, you could be smashing it again. And if you're fucking with multiple bitches in one trip, multiple regular local chicks in one trip, when you go back 6 months later, you have 4 or 5 bitches on deck. A guy that's going overseas hooking up with prostitutes can't do that shit. He doesn't have shit like that on deck. You know, if anything, he may have a number of some prostitute he fucked with in his phone, you know, and he may call her up and might try to get a discount or some shit, you know, as a repeat customer. But he's not getting the pussy like I'm getting the pussy because, you know, I got 5 chicks on deck, you know, and when I go over their cribs, they know what it is, and I don't gotta pay for the fucking pussy, you know? So I think guys that travel overseas, you know, for the purposes of hooking up with prostitutes, need to stop promoting the lifestyle, you know, because they're misrepresenting the passport player lifestyle. They're not passport players, you know. What they're doing, a motherfucker could do in Las Vegas for half the price, and they don't have to, you know, pay for a round trip ticket and all this other crap. They could do that in Las Vegas. Fuck going halfway around the world, you know? So, you know, I think it's important for this video to be, you know, for me to make this video, you know, to really give guys a lowdown who want to travel overseas, who want to, you know, hook up with foreign women and have those experiences, and let them know that, you know, it's easy to bag the local woman, the regular woman, you know, it's easy as hell. You know, the minute they find out you're American, you have the in, you know, no effort involved. I mean, and there's no reason to hook up with prostitutes, you know. And for the life of me, I just don't understand why guys have to do it. I mean, it makes no sense. I mean, either these guys really have no patience, or they're fucking losers and have no fucking game, you know. Because I mean, there really is no game involved. I've seen nerds hooking up with badass bitches overseas, bitches that I couldn't get, you know. So if these guys have to get with prostitutes, I mean, there's something up. That's pretty much all I have to say. So I hope, you know, this gets through to a lot of guys, and, you know, I mean, they consider this when they travel, you know, and they know it's easy as hell to get with the local woman. You don't have to get with prostitutes. It's totally unneeded. And, that's all I got to say.